Alright, and we're back. You have enough intelligence and enough lore to know that this creature is an effigy. I will have a cue here for you right now. An effigy is basically an undead creature, a corpse more than likely, that is basically engulfed in an aura of some kind. Most likely known with fire, a fire effigy, and this is a picture of it right here. Basically, this is a corpse that is being controlled by magical fire, so to speak.
Alright.
This creature happens to wriggle in such a way to fall off of the tray, flat on its face on the ground. As fire emanates straight off of the creature, you now notice the oven has died down. Fire is not spewing out of the oven, it is coming off of this creature. The effigy... Go ahead.
Can I get the human out of there so he doesn't have to see me kill his sister, basically?
You can do whatever you like.
Okay, I try and direct the human to get out of the area.
The human is in shock, but you manage to motion for him to get back in the other room as he manages to kind of hurriedly run back, taking your sword, mind you, back into the main area with the lift. The effigy shambles to its feet. This is literally a corpse in all the manner that it holds itself. This thing does not look like it is agile. This thing looks like it is just barely holding together. This monstrous fire roaring above its head takes an ethereal form, somewhat humanoid. As one of its arms raises up, a plume of fire will rocket towards you and attempt to strike you.
I try and dodge.
Alright, I rolled a 16. You can, what do you want to roll to try and dodge? Do you want to do a 50-50, or do you want to try D6?
I'll do a D6.
Alright, if you get... Now, I'll have you choose here. Which one do you want to dodge, evens or odds? I'll have you okay, roll again, because if you land on an even, you'll dodge it.
4.
Alright, you manage to dodge out of this big plume of fire as it rockets towards you and bounces off the wall at the back, dissipating. This effigy begins to learn to walk as it maneuvers its corpse's feet, slowly shambling towards you, arms outstretched like a stereotypical zombie.
I'll try and strike it.
Alright. You, through lore, you know effigies are not a very strong creature, but they are, of course, on fire, and you believe, if lore serves you right, if you get rid of the body, or hack up the body enough, this creature will be no more. So, you don't even have to roll to hit, just roll damage. Tell me what you want to do.
Do I do a 20, a 6, or what?
Roll damage with a d6 and tell me how you would like to hit it and what you'd like to hit it with.
It's mostly bone and it's pretty charred, so he's not going to be very strong because bone's rather weak, especially when it's burnt.
Correct.
So I'm going to try and use the axe side of my hammer and kind of just strike it from the head and go and rip through it.
Okay, you want to take its head off. Go for it. Roll a d6.
I got 3.
Alright, a good solid hit leaves this thing shambling. You did not strike its head off, but you struck it a good section to the side, leaving a good crack in its cheek. You believe one more good hit might take this thing out. This thing will try to strike you back with another large ray of fire. It rolls a critical fail with just about a 2. This crack upside the head throws its aim off, and this other rocket of fire goes off to the side. Like it did not even aim for you.
I'll try and strike it again.
Once more, roll a d6.
Another 3.
Alright, this time you got a good solid hit. This head comes clean off to the side. The corpse falls to one knee. It still shambles and tries to hang on to what little bit of life it seems to have. This thing will try one more burst of fire at you. It actually rolls a 16. It strikes you straight upside the face with fire. Alright, you will take, you are in close range, but you are wearing armor. I will take a good 7 fire damage from you. You are now at 91, and you are on fire.
The kind of fire that's gonna bother me, or just the
This
kind
is
of fire?
actual fire. Good old-fashioned fire.
Okay, my beard is probably on fire. I'll try and put it out real fast.
Alright, just go ahead and roll a d20. If you get above a 10, you put it out.
What if I get a 10?
Would you like a 50-50 or want to roll again?
I'll roll again.
Okay.
Hey, I got an 11.
Alright, you managed to put this fire out very quickly. You do not suffer any more damage. You are no longer on fire.
Right, and I'll try and strike him.
Alright, roll a d6.
2!
2. Good enough. You strike this creature just about the shoulder. Its arm comes off, this creature slumps to the ground, and in actual corpse-like fashion, the fire dissipates in another unworldly groan of ethereal agony. The fire dissipates, the room goes quiet.
Alright, do I hear anything, any other commotions going on?
Now you take a quick glance around to examine your surroundings again. You see a small little static discharge in the corner of that same room. And you hear what sounds to be the scratching of charcoal on a notepad.
Okay, so he's in the room.
And you hear the sobbing of the human in the next room.
So there are no other noises going on?
Not for the time being.
Alright, I'll approach the human and try to get my sword back.
He seems very shell-shocked and actually holds his sword back up to defend himself from you. In a quick strike of fear. And then realizing who you are. Or that you are his savior.
I try to calm him down.
You console the human. He goes over his woeful tale. He just came in with his sister and it's all his fault. And oh my gosh, I will never live this down. He tells you his sob story. It's hard to make out through his erratic crying. He starts now.
Alright. I tell him that there's no replacement for his sister, but he seems to be safe at the moment, and he'll be able to grieve properly with his family, but for the time being he needs to get home so he's safe.
You manage to convince him. He agrees with you and you motion towards a lift, and he reluctantly leaves after he gives you a decent felt hug of sympathy.
And can I have my sword back?
He gives you his sword, your sword back. Standing there at the lift and you peer down this very elongated hallway, you are pretty sure that neither one of those creatures was this necromancer they speak of, so you feel like your work is not done here, but you're pretty sure whatever you just did alerted somebody. You are sure whatever's down here now knows you're here.
I'd start traveling down the stairs, looking at the treasure to see if there's any weaponry I can gather.
Alright. I will once again cue this exact picture back up for you. Everything in the picture I will actually put in there. So, whatever you see in this picture you are more than welcome to try and get. So let me bring that back up for you. Here we are. You are more than welcome to take anything you see.
You know, I can only see so much. Looks like I see a sword off to the side, though. Something shiny that looks like a weapon.
I can describe a quick glance of everything if you'd like.
Sure.
There are a few small rapiers lining the sides. There are a few actual corpses, skeletons lining the sides with some noticeable shields. Some unknown large broth jugs of some unknown liquid. A few sacramental daggers lining the sides. A few pots and chests of ornament. ashes, you would assume, but some of them look like they would be having some sort of mystical items or tropes to them, as well as a predominant silver gauntlet, a few necklaces, and it looks like a few potion flasks.
Okay, I will pick up one of the daggers and a shield.
Alright, this is a very heavy shield. You realize that this thing will be very hard to wield easily in battle, but you feel you are strong enough to maneuver this thing.
Adds to my protection.
So you now have a large shield that covers at least half of you, a very large metal shield.
Alright.
Once it over, and from your dwarven ingenuity, you realize this thing has been sitting here throughout the ages, and this thing may not be able to take much, but it is a shield.
If it's not going to be able to take much, I'll go ahead and put it back down. I have a high enough armor class as it is.
You take one of the sacramental daggers. It looks very embroidered. It does not look particularly sharp. It looks more sacramental, but you still think it could do some damage.
That I'll keep. JIC.
Alright, it is a golden dagger with gemstones encrusted in the handle itself. The blade seems to be made out of a shining silver alloy of some kind. It does not appear to have any magical abilities or anything special. Roll a perception check for me as you continue down this very elongated hallway.
I got a 3.
A 3. Alright.
It's about time I rolled something crappy.
You hear absolutely nothing as you make your way down the steps. Roll another perception check. It's just a very long hallway.
Hey! I got a 14.
14. Of course, now you realize another set of footsteps behind you. You can hear. As well as you hear footsteps from farther down the steps in front of you.
Farther down in front of me. The ones behind me are probably our little friend there. Can I do another perception check to see if I can see or figure out who's in front of me?
Yes.
'Cause I'm pretty sure I know who's behind me.
Alright, give a perception check for me.
19.
19. Alright, you can make out before they can see you. You can see just about 3 animated Bane guards, essentially animate skeletons. Which are simple as can be, but look about like so. Just your normal average skeletons, but they are up and about walking. And they seem to be wielding, 2 of them wield a sword, 1 of them wields a sword and a shield.
Great.
They seem to be guarding the door at the bottom. They do not seem to be moving around too much, as if they are just pacing.
Their strength levels, do we know?
You wouldn't imagine them to be too particularly high, as they are just skeletons and they are not actually wearing any armor of any kind. You think it would be fairly weak, but you are not exactly sure.
I will try to quietly approach to observe and see if I can pick up on anything else.
Alright, you happen to get close enough down the steps, still out of eye shot from them, to notice they are guarding a very large arch door that leads into a room at the end of the steps. You cannot see in the room good enough, but there is no door. It is just an open archway that leads to a door in the back. They seem to be guarding this door, and seem to be set on guarding this door.
Can I see anything past them, or are they blocking my point of view?
You are still down and on the incline of steps, so you are not close enough, you know, not far enough down the door to be able to see through the archway. You can tell it probably opens up to a larger room, but if you step down any closer, you think the skeletons might see you.
Okay, I ready my sword and I approach.
Alright, you take about 3 steps and they all happen to stop. The one closest to you is one with just a sword. It happens to look up and see you. It stops They have all stopped, but this one appears to face you now.
I'll try and strike him.
Alright. Okay, first off, give me a d20 roll to see if you can run down these steps. You are still on steps.
Oh. Oops. I got a 14.
14, oh great. You managed to run down these steps, not as quickly as you would like, but quick enough so you do not fall. Now roll a d20 to strike. There.
I got another 14.
Alright, their AC is 10. Smack this thing. Alright, give me damage.
6.
Alright, where do you want to hit?
Well, their head is probably the easiest thing to get detached from them, so I'll try their head.
Alright, you rock this guy. They seem to have just about as much health as the effigy did, you'd imagine. You take this thing just about down to half health as you put a very good crack in its skull. This thing will try to retaliate against you with its sword. It will roll an 11. It glances off of your maul, and the other two have taken notice of you. The one with the shield will come up with you 5, not miss you, and the one with a single sword will hit you with an 18. It's a low level, so I will actually roll a d12 for damage instead of a d6. It rolls a 10, so you actually only take about 5 damage as this thing tries to cut into your shoulder. Now down to 81.
Ow.
So I can cut you off guard. Metagaming here, but remember, you have all of your weaponry, and you also have that magical rune that also summons magical weapons.
I don't know what kind of weapon I would summon.
Well, I have it set up in a system. You roll a d20, and you get one of my random items here. They can, of course, at any point go over your inventory again if you need.
Curious as to what exactly it does. Is it a one-time use thing, or can I use it multiple times?
You feel that you feel from the way that they have presented this rune to you that this thing can be used as many times as you need, but whatever weapon you get is probably a one-weapon use, a one-time use.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give it a shot and try it out.
Alright, you pull this rune from your pocket and roll a d20 to see what randomly assigned weapon you will get.
I got a 2.
A 2. You actually get from this rock, you store it back in your pocket, as in front of you materializes the Wand of Wonder. This magical little golden wand about a foot in length, this golden rod with little little spheres of multiple colors spin around the tip of it. This wand is known throughout legend to be a wand of uncertainty. You can cast any creature can use the Wand of Wonder, but its outcome is unknown. So you have a gambling wand, so to speak. You do not know the outcome of what you will cast.
Okay, I use it on the dude who has the shield and the sword.
Okay, roll another d20 to see what magical event happens.
8.
8. A burst of fire rockets from the tip of the wand and blasts this guy right in the face, catching him off guard. He is taken down to about a quarter health, as fire does not seem to be too effective against this skeleton. It does char him a bit. Is that the end of your turn, or would you like to do one more thing before the bad guys go?
I'll go ahead and... Is there any way I can strike all 3 of them?
You can try.
I'll try and strike all 3 of them.
Alright, first roll to see, okay, roll to see if you hit... You'll do a swinging sweep. Roll for the first one.
17.
Alright, hit. His head comes clean off. The skeleton is no more. Second one.
16.
Alright, his head gets a good crack to it. He's shambling now. As the first one slumps to the floor in a pile of bones. Third one.
19.
19. He is down to half health. Alright, the shield The one with the shield and the sword is shambling. You feel one more good hit will take him down. You think one strong hit for the one with just the sword will do you. The wand dematerializes in your hand.
Alright, I get my maul out. That seems to be my trusty item.
That is what you have just used to smack these three across the face. You're still wielding your maul.
Oh, I thought I was using the wand.
No. The wand just did fire and disappeared. You used your maul to smack all three of them.
Alright.
These two will try and retaliate against you. The one with the shield does a 12, glances off of you. And the one with just a sword rolls a 19 and smacks you for another good 10. You are down to 71.
No, that one with the sword is a bit of a pain in the butt. I'm gonna try and take him out first.
Alright, roll it.
I got a pitiful little 15.
15 hits. AC is 10. You still manage to crack it upside the head. Give it to you. The skeleton is beheaded and it slumps to the ground in another pile of bones. You now have the one with the shield and the sword, and it is not looking good.
I'll go ahead and try and smash him upside the head too.
Alright, if you make it over a 10, you've got it.
How's an 18?
18 manages to break right through his shield, smash his skull. This skeleton is no more. You now have 3 piles of bones where they were skeletons.
What is the condition of that one shield?
The skeleton shield?
Yes.
You have just literally broken through it. The shield is cracked in half.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Right, you are now at the base of the steps. You look through into this very large opening into a cavernous-like room, which I will now change for the viewers as well. This room opens up very unnaturally into a cavern. This room does not appear to have been stone cut, or this room appears to be fresh and not really used for much, other than possible storage, like the catacombs before they started refining catacombs, if you will. And this is what it looks like to the viewers, and I will also bring up a cue for you. You feel like this was with a lack of term, a mass grave site, to some extent. In this room, you see just piles and piles of bones piled up along the sides of the rocky cavern side you see here. At the far back, you can notice beyond a few of these piles is a large glowing fissure in the wall of fire, almost like a portal, so to speak. A few torch lights light from upstairs. You can see the entrance to a mine up to the top right. Piles of bones scatter the entire room. There's a predominant pile right in front of you, but you can hardly make out the glow of this portal from behind the big pile of bones in front of you. You cannot see past this pile unless you were to go to the right or the left or over top of it of some sort.
There is a portal there?
You can make out there is a portal of some kind as this unnatural fluctuation glow at the back of the wall here. But you cannot see it directly, you can only hear it festering. You are very familiar with portals from your past adventures, I will give you that.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and enter the room.
Alright, you are now in the room. There are bone piles all in front of you, and to your sides. You can see the entrance to a mine up to the top side. And roll a perception check for me.
13.
15. Alright. You actually can also see a small wisp of green smoke coming from behind this tall bone pile in front of you. Roll a smaller another perception check for me.
I got another 13.
Alright. You also, as you take notice of these bone piles, that these are not just human bones. These are bones of all sorts of creatures, just hastily thrown together like a dumping grounds, if you will.
Oh, lovely.
You hear more scratching of a notepad behind you.
I advanced to... You said there's a mine?
Well, there's a mine on the far back of the wall. This is a very huge room, about 100 feet by 100 feet. You would have to maneuver around a few large piles of bones to even relatively get close.
And where is the portal?
The portal is on the other side of this large pile of bones in front of you, at the far back wall.
Okay, I walk towards the portal, trying to miss bones and occasionally scavenge through them to see if I can find anything of value
Alright.
until I get to the portal.
Okay, you scavenge through this first little section of bones, the big pile right in front of you. What do you want to roll to try and scavenge?
I don't know, what would be the most convenient?
Well, that is up to you, depending on how well you think you can roll.
Well, I was doing good, now I'm doing crappy, but I'll do a D20.
Okay, roll it.
Hey, I got a 16.
Alright, you happen to find a shiny little red gemstone buried under just about 5 or 6 little bones.
What kind of gemstone?
Shiny little, like a round ruby, a nice cut ruby.
Okay, I'll pick it up.
As soon as you pick it up, this thing wriggles out of your hand back into the bone pile like it was stuck in a magnet or something.
I try to investigate.
Alright, how would you like to investigate? What would you like to do?
I don't know, I'll just continue to rummage through them to try and figure out what's attracting the ruby.
Alright, as you try to dig around this ruby, this thing tries to sink a little bit deeper into the bones as you dig away, like you're digging through sand, so to speak, and this thing's falling through it. You cannot seem to figure out why this thing is not... why you can't pick up this ruby.
Discouraged by it, I just kind of decide to move on to the next set of bones.
Okay, you leave it alone and take about 2 steps over to the next step, and this ruby immediately resurfaces, predominantly as if to say, pick me, pick me.
It reappeared at the top?
Yes, it has come back to the top, predominantly. It's not hidden under any more bones.
Curiosity killed the cat. I go back and I try to investigate again.
Alright, you now notice that this ruby is now lying basically in, like, the jaws of a skull. Like a skull is sitting there with its jaw open and it's sitting there right in its mouth.
I am not going to try and reach in its mouth to get it. I'll use that little weird dagger I got that's not of much use, and try to knock it out.
Alright, you try to use this gemstone dagger to pry this gem out or knock it out, what you think, and you fumble with the gem trying to knock it.
You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm breaking up. Test. Hello?
Oh, there we go. There
Okay.
we go.
You happen to use this dagger and it does not appear to feel like this gem is stuck to anything, so you try to use this dagger to flick it to the side. You just barely manage to flip this ruby like you're about to toss it to the side away from the bone pile. This skull clamps shut on your gem dagger, like it has bit down on your dagger. The bone pile begins to shake.
Great. More living bones.
You take a few steps back as this gemstone resurfaces in one of the eye sockets of this skull, with your dagger still clamped within its jaws, as a bone naga appears from within this bone pile. Q, this is a bone naga.
Oh my god. That's
Basically, think of a skull snake. A snake of bones appears from this huge pile, with a gem dagger sticking out of its mouth and a ruby stuck in its eye. This naga rears up. This thing is not particularly huge, but it is sizable. This thing rears back, as if judging you, not necessarily like it is about to strike, but as if anticipating your next move. Remember, at any time I can give you an inventory check, of course.
I have rope. Yeah, what all do I have?
Inventory check. You're still wearing your basic helmet, pads, basic armor. Your AC still 15. You are down to 71 hit points. You still have your flask, your basic adventurer's kit, which comes with rope, your black powder, a flint and steel, a small grapple, the map you were originally given, and your weapon summoning rune. You still have your short sword, your pick maul. You still have a small dagger, and you still happen to have a pretty frail you still happen to have 2 vials of instant health and a small vial of your invulnerability.
Okay.
I would go for the rune, but I'm metagaming here. I shouldn't do that. You wanted more magical weapons, so I'm giving you more magical weapons. But this thing is...
Since I'm unfamiliar with this thing, I will go ahead and I will use my gem to see if there's anything more efficient than just my little pick maul to eliminate him.
Alright, you want to gamble a weapon. Alright, roll a d20.
I got a 6.
You got a 6. Alright, it materializes in front of you as you put your rune away. A very large tailed whip that emanates a blue gemstone at the bottom, emanates electricity. This is an electric whip of some sizable length. This Naga rears back and is puzzlingly looking you over. It does not appear to necessarily want to attack you, but this thing is studying you as hard as it can.
I keep the whip in my hand and slowly back away, trying to advance closer to the portal.
Alright, you start sidestepping your way around. This Naga still curiously looks at you and wriggles around to the side, still following you, still looking at you with much anticipated curiosity. You hear footsteps from behind you following your path, and some more scribbling. From the bone pile behind you, you hear some more bones clamoring. You spin around. There is an emerald that has resurfaced, as well as a sapphire and a large chunk of gold.
Last time I messed with a gem of any kind, I got a giant snake thing that seems to like me. Perception. Are these things gonna come alive too?
Roll perception, just for the heck of it.
14.
Alright, you are fairly certain these things are also bone Nagas. You were unsure of what they want, or unsure of their characteristics. You are not sure if they would outright attack you, or if this is strange for their natural behavior. But it is obvious they are trying to tempt you. Have you stopped, or are you still making your way around the bone pile?
I'm still making my way around, trying to avoid bringing more things to life.
As you get around this initial pile, you now realize this room is a lot larger than you expected. There are plenty of more piles leading to the portal at the back you can barely make out, as well as a small little green wisp of smoke. As you continue sidestepping, more and more treasures start appearing from underneath these bone piles, wriggling at the top of the piles as if to say, "Pick me, pick me!" That you still only see the one initial ruby Naga kind of following you along this bone pile, still studying you. Its gem dagger still stuck in its mouth.
Unsure of my fate, if I try and take any more treasure, I just continue to ignore the treasure and try and make my way to the portal. Last time I tried to pick up treasure, I brought something to life.
Alright. You still continue your way around trying to resist all the temptation of all these magical items and gems being presented before you. You take your eyes off of the Naga and begin walking around these bone piles as cautiously as possible. As you are greeted by the same bone Naga appearingly in the... he's pile hopped, so to speak. He's now appeared in front of you with the gem dagger still in its mouth, and it spits the dagger back out at your feet.
I'll go ahead and pick the dagger back up.
It leans in closely as you lean down to pick the dagger up. You pick the dagger up as it's not face to face, but it is like peering into your soul.
Um, can it talk?
You are unsure. Would you like to try and communicate with it?
Sure. What do you want with me?
This thing
Why
kind
are
of,
you following me?
it tilts its head to its side, and kind of, you could tell it kind of glances at that gem dagger and back at you.
Do you want my dagger?
It once again looks back at the dagger and back at you.
I kind of cautiously offer him the gem dagger since it's not really of much use to me.
You hold the dagger out by the blade, the handle towards the Naga. It leans in close and very quickly snaps the dagger between its teeth like before. Rears up, gives it a good shake, leans back down towards you and drops it at your feet again.
Does it want to play fetch?
It still stares you down.
I pick it up and try and throw it a bit farther to see if it's trying to play.
Where do you throw it? You have a good distinct feeling that wherever you throw this dagger, it's probably going to land in bones, as this room is now covered in bones, you realize.
I'll throw it towards the portal.
Throw it in that general direction. How far do you throw it? Do you throw it with force, or just kind of toss it enough to test?
Just toss it enough to test.
Alright, you kind of toss this dagger to the side like as if you were throwing it away. It lands at a small, another pile of bones. This Naga reels itself into its little pile and rockets up like a shark snatching a seal out of the water, nabs this dagger, appears back in front of you, and drops it at your feet again.
Alright, obviously it means me no harm. So I take it and I throw it with a little more force in the general direction of the portal to try to make it over there to see if this thing is threatened by the portal or if it's just another object to it.
Alright. You manage to lob this thing as hard as you can across the piles over to the direction of the portal. You still can't make it out as these bone piles are very massive. A lot of these treasures begin to sink back into the bone piles, and kind of you can tell they somewhat migrate towards that that gem dagger. You can see the back of the Naga as it swims through these piles of bones. Hear it shake about a bit. You make it about 5 or 6 steps, and this thing pops back up behind you, drops the dagger at your feet, and all of the treasures you have previously seen kind of swarm just specifically around you, around that Naga, instead of all over the place.
Okay, so they're obviously trying to tempt me a good bit with these treasures. Against my better judgment, I pick up the dagger again and cautiously pick a stone to try and gather.
What do you mean by a stone? You want to pick one of the treasures?
Yeah.
Alright, you pick up your gem dagger and you reach down to grab, there's like an emerald, a coin, there's a couple sapphires right, like, directly to your right here that are closest to you.
I'll try and pick up an emerald.
Alright, as soon as you touch the emerald, another skull emerges with this emerald in its, what would be throat, as the skull has an open mouth, and it is now another bone Naga who is now up staring at you in your face again, and immediately looks at your dagger.
Note to self, do not take any more treasure. Doesn't matter what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have these things after me because they really like my dagger. And apparently anything shiny. So I'll toss the dagger more towards the mine to see if both of them go after it and fight or anything like that.
You toss it as hard as you can, and these two bone Nagas go off as you make your way towards the portal. You round the corner, and you can see there is a large glowing fissure in the back of the wall here, which is obviously a portal, as it glows with just this pristine orange magic. It is some sort of portal of some sort. And you still see another small wisp of green smoke from just beyond another bone pile off to the distance. You can hear the bone nagas rocketing after this dagger and kind of snapping at each other as you assume they are fighting over this little dagger.
How far away did I throw it?
You lobbed it over a good couple of piles. Remember, these piles are like up over your head. You can't really see the rest of the room. You can manage to see the portal. You're not in front of it, but you're in a position where you can see the portal. You're still a good ways away from it.
I'll continue advancing towards the portal, waiting for them to bring me back my dagger.
Alright, you notice as well as all the other treasures have also zoomed after in the same direction of the dagger as well. You can kind of assume at this point that those are probably other Nagas as well, or if not part of the same Naga. These two, before you get another 3 steps, these two are right back up in your face. The Emerald Naga drops the dagger at your feet, and the red one kind of bustles up beside it, trying to half push it out of the way.
I'm gonna take out some of the coins I gathered from at the entrance and see if they're interested in those.
Alright, do you just hold your palm out with the coins in hand, like to present to them? Just to show them? As soon as it comes out of your pocket, they instantly avert their gaze from you to the coins in your hands.
Okay, so they're after anything treasure related. I assume they're not dangerous, so I take my dagger and I continue advancing towards the portal with the intention of using them to see what the heck this thing is.
Alright, you make your way towards the portal. Roll a perception check.
I got a 16.
Okay, what is your focus on right now? What are you most focused on?
Making it to the portal. Figuring out what it is. If it's dangerous.
Okay, roll another d20 for me.
Yay! I got 20.
Oh man. Alright. You happen to get close enough to this portal to start hearing some form of noises from the other side. You cannot make out what exactly they are, as you'll probably guess that it's distorted by this portal. But you are pretty certain it's a portal to another location. Like just a straight up just general portal. Nothing too out of the ordinary from what you can guess.
Am I close enough to throw the dagger in it?
You feel like if you lob this dagger, you can lob it in the portal.
Okay, I pull it out and make sure that I have both of their attention.
The gem dagger?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
you wave it above their head, they take their eyes off the coins and look at the dagger.
And lob it at the portal.
Alright, roll a... Do you want a contest to see if you make it in the portal?
Yes.
Alright, what do you want to contest? D20?
What are the contests? 50-50 or a roll?
Well, you can choose whatever kind of roll, or you can just straight up 50-50 it.
I'll do a roll.
What, a D20?
Yeah.
Okay.
18.
Alright, I happen to roll a 19. You lob this thing, it bounces right off the side right next to the portal, lands in the pile of bones right next to the portal. The two Nagas go rocketing after it. You see as they kind of get close to the portal, they kind of veer around away from it, but close enough to stretch themselves as hard as they can to nab this dagger and retreat back towards you. So you have an inkling that they do not like it.
They find it a threat.
They drop the dagger back at your feet.
They obviously find it to be a threat. Kind of growing attached to the little creatures there, I give the one with the ruby my dagger, since it's of no use to me, and the one with the emerald the handful of coins as I advance towards the portal.
How do you give the emerald one the coins?
I kind of just leave it right in front of them.
They sit there and glare at it and glare back at you. Unknowing, like, why didn't you throw it kind of look. You leave them alone and continue towards the portal. They instantly run back around and halt you in your path and stare at you.
Okay, so obviously they're kind of like pets. Um,
As well as normal, you'd expect all the treasures have, of course, once again gathered around you. Once more.
well, the more treasure I try and take, the more of these things I'm gonna have following me around, and two of them are already obnoxious enough.
Do you want to try just try to ignore him and keep going towards the portal?
Yes.
Okay. Roll a d20.
Yeah, I got a 1.
Oh my. Trying to meticulously walk around these Nagas as they are almost blocking your path. You happen to step on one of these gemstones and it shatters beneath your feet.
Eek!
You lift your foot up to see a broken little sapphire.
Aww! I killed one of their little friends.
Two of the Nagas just stare at you. With now, it's as their expressions cannot change. It does not look like they are very playful anymore. They look very upset with you. A small shriek was heard when you stepped. Furious scribbling is now heard from behind you. As these two Nagas retreat underneath this bone pile, they have disappeared. And you hear whimpering as all these treasures burrow themselves underneath these bone piles.
I try and pick up the rest of the gem and see if there's any way it can be repaired.
As you inch your hand towards it, it pulls away from you, but very unnaturally, like whatever it's attached to is hurt. It tries to bury itself.
Okay.
Whimpering.
Well, they left. They probably did. They leave me my dagger.
The dagger and coins were still where you had left them. They had not touched them.
Okay. How far have I made it from there?
Oh, maybe 5 or 6 steps.
Okay, I go back and I get my little dagger.
Collect the dagger.
And try to calm it by giving it the dagger.
You place the dagger next to the broken sapphire. It still tries to retreat under these bones, but it looks like it's having difficulty. Like it would be cowering in a corner, like as if there were nowhere left for it to go. This thing you can still faintly make out is whimpering, but it does not seem interested in anything else. Roll a perception check.
18.
Alright, the immediate bone pile that little sapphire is in begins to shake in its entirety. Not like the Nagas you had just experienced, where the whole pile begins to shake.
Do I have any gems on me?
You did not collect any of the gems. You do not have anything on you.
Okay. All I can do is say I'm sorry to it, and try to move on, and leave my dagger as a offering of peace.
You try to ignore this shambling pile of bones and make your way over towards this portal and this green plume of smoke you have not identified the source of, as you now notice a larger puff of green smoke seem to have originated, like as if something had charged for a second or something was energized for a short moment, like as if someone had put a blanket over the fire and let a large puff of smoke come up. As a large bellowing, chittering noise is heard from that shambling pile, as well as the continuous little whimpers of the broken sapphire.
Okay, I look around to see if there are any loose gems or anything I can give to this thing that aren't attached to bones.
There are no more gems around. You see nothing left. They have all disappeared away from you.
Alright,
Through the rumblings, as you continue to ignore it, a large dragon skull emerges at the top of the pile as these bones are shambling and moving about. This dragon skull slides down the side of the pile right next to the sapphire and happens to, like, nose right to the sapphire. Its whimpering seems to calm down as this large bellowing chitter erupts again. As this dragon skull turns and looks right at you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Another large puff of green smoke from around the corner as this pile begins to emerge into what is known as a boneyard. And here is your cue. Basically, this is Mommy Bone Naga, a large skeletal